Hey there, everybody. It is time for another Unbridled Freedom series. This is going to be a 6-part series, and it is called Harmony and Hooves, Unveiling the Horse and Human Connection. I really am excited to share this series with you guys because it's going to be a little thought provoking, and it's going to be, the intention is anyway, to be able to expand the understanding of what goes on in both the horse and the human and the relationship that we create with each other. So, this series is a 6-part series because it's going to talk about the 6 basic needs of both horse and human. I'm going to be referring to my notes from time to time. So when I look down, that's what I'm doing. It's a really amazing topic and I don't want to forget anything. I get so excited about it, I don't want to get distracted. So there's 6 basic needs that horses and humans need to have fulfilled on a regular basis to feel harmony inside, to feel content and safe and complete. Horses and humans both live in a community. We're both very social, even though there's some of us that are introverts and some of us that are extroverts. We still crave the connection. We still need to have the fulfillment of these 6 needs. So the first one that we're talking about today is going to be the need for certainty. And I can see that I have people joining me, but I can't see who it is. So if you would like to let me know who's just joined me, say hi in the comments below with your name, and that way I know who's joining me. And if there's any questions or comments during this session, please feel free to make them in the comments. So, certainty. It's a need that both horses and humans need to have fulfilled or met in order to show up in a way where we feel confident and present and not threatened. And what does certainty mean to horses and to humans? Horses, just like us, hey Laura, how you doing? It's rainy. It's rainy where you are. It's not here, but it has been. Hi, Kristen. Thanks for joining. We're talking about the 6 basic needs of horses and women, and the first one is going to be uncertainty. So, how does certainty play a role in our ability to be completely present with our horses and for our horses to be completely present with us? Well, it's about routine. It's about knowing that there is some security and predictability in our lives. Both horses and women, humans, thrive on routines. It makes us feel safe. It makes us comfortable. It gives us things to look forward to. It helps us to know what's going to happen throughout the day. Our horses know when they get fed breakfast. They know when some get lunch, some get dinner. They know what certain sounds around the property means to them. They live in a herd unless they're on a property all by themselves, which that's very rare. But when they live with a herd, they have the certainty of the herd surrounding them and trusting the sounds that each other's makes. When one whinnies, they know what kind of a whinny it is. If it's a frightened whinny, if it's a hey, is everybody still here kind of whinny, is it excited about food coming? When we are creating that special bond with our horse, and they know that we are going to show up for them. They may not know if we can make it every day, if we don't live with them, but they know that we're coming, and they know when they can hear our car, they know when they see us, they can see us from a distance. They know that the time that we spend together, they can be certain that it's going to be time of bonding and trusting. It doesn't mean it's not going to be hard, and it doesn't mean that some days one of us won't be frustrated, but they know, they're certain that we're their person. And we find comfort in knowing that they're our horse. You know, even though they can be unpredictable at times, we can be unpredictable at times, there is that comfort in the routine that we establish with them. You know, we go, we get them, there's our tone of voice, there's their tone of voice. We pretty much have our routine where we bring them out, we go in, we love on them, we bring them out, we groom them, we do a routine with them, and it creates trust and connection between the two of us. Routines create a huge sense of certainty. For horses, that consistency in their daily routine. It has to do, like I said, with their feeding and their grooming. And when we take a horse out of their routine or their normal environment, you can see a little bit of anxiety come up. Some horses get super excited. I have one who gets really anxious, and I have one who gets really excited. But the one thing that's consistent that they can be certain on is that I am with them the whole time, hopefully, unless it's going to the vet. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about what does certainty look like in the relationship between our horses and us. If anybody wants to make a comment in the comments below about what is one way that you experience certainty with your horse, and that your horse experiences certainty with you, I'd love to hear them. There's different ways that we find certainty in our lives. Like, we get up every morning, we have a routine, right? And when we sleep in, or we're late, or something doesn't go right, it creates some anxiety in us. And it's the same thing for horses. We try to be as consistent with our horses' routines as we are with ours, because it creates a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress or frustration. When we share a routine with our horses, we're helping them to feel more safe and comfortable and trusting with us. It helps us to feel more comfortable and safe and trust our horses. So what might that look like? For me, I have a routine of when I go out and I am getting one of my horses, I will call them, I will enter their pen, I will call them, or pasture and call them, and they will come greet me. I halter them pretty much the same way every time. I want them to be a partner with me in that process. And then we will either come out and go to the trailer and load up and go somewhere, or we will walk up to the round pen And when we get into the round pen, we have a pretty consistent routine. Kristen, whenever I go outside and they see me, they whinny a greeting. I always acknowledge and return the greeting. That is certainty. I love that. So, Kristen, if you go out and somebody doesn't whinny, you're immediately looking for that one. And we all know we can recognize the whinnies of all our different horses or the different horses at the ranch. I know that where Laura is at, she's pretty bonded with all of the horses there, and she recognizes their whinnies. That's a great example of certainty. So another way of showing certainty in our lives, and this is with our horses, because that's what we're talking about, because that's why we're here. We love our horses. But it also flows into other areas of our life, with our partners, with our coworkers. There's certainty in clear communication. You know, if we don't stay consistent with the way that we communicate with our horse, which they read body language, so being able to put that body language into everything we do is showing them consistency in our communication, and they don't get confused. When we get confused or frustrated, we're not sharing the concise, clear communication with each other, and it builds confusion and frustration. Where we've got each other's backs no matter what. This weekend, my mom and I were walking MJ, and I had a funny little conversation with her about what side of the garbage can she wanted to go on. I love Laura's stories with MJ. I let her choose. I made sure she was safe and didn't get her lead rope caught up when she chose to go on the far side. My mom thought it was cool that I allowed her to make the choice and didn't think much of it. But it is, as I give you freedom, but I've also got you dynamic. We have with each other. That's very cool. So that certainty there that you have each other. I got you, you got me. That form of trust. Well, that came from consistency in your communication and the consistency of being there for each other no matter what shows up. Because with our horses, we know anything is possible. But to be able to know that you can trust me and I know I can trust you and we will get through this, that's certainty. And we need that. That's what builds a solid relationship and an amazing partnership, is knowing that no matter what, we've got each other. And what I love about what Laura is sharing here is she is letting her horse know that MJ has a voice and she has a choice. And Laura is going to allow her to express that freedom. However, if she starts to be making her choice that's going to end up in a way that isn't safe for the two of them, MJ knows that when Laura speaks up and says, whoops, let's go this way, that she's doing it from a place of trust and confidence and I got you. So that's so important. Our body language, if we are certain about what we're doing with our horses, doesn't matter what it is, something new, something old, if we're certain about it, we're confident about it, our body language shares that with our horse. And then in return, they have confidence and they feel certain that they can follow our lead. A stable environment both for us at home, when we're having turmoil and things aren't working out right, or there's a problem in the dwelling, that we're living in. Um, the heater's kind of like a little shaky and wonky. That disrupts our certainty of knowing that our comfort, our ability to stay warm and safe and dry is being threatened, and that creates anxiety within us. If we have, like for me, we have a mountain lion that lives in the mountain, on the mountain behind us, and it likes to go along our property line across the street and try and snag a newborn calf or a newborn sheep or one of the older ones. And holy moly, I know when that mountain lion is around, because it disrupts the certainty within my herd that they are safe. And for us, it disrupts my certainty that all of us are safe. I mean, when my horses tell me there's a mountain lion in the vicinity, I'm going outside looking up in the trees. When my dogs go outside and look up in the trees, my certainty and theirs of us being safe in our own environment is shaken. And so, what is that like for our horses who we are boarding? We want to find an environment, a facility that believes in consistency, because that creates stability and that creates a comfort. That need of certainty is being fulfilled in our horse's environment. So a lot of horses moving in and out, we don't often think much about it, but it certainly affects our horses because it's disrupting their routine. When we come to the barn, or I go out in the morning, or I go to teach a client at their facility, and their horse is a little spicy, a little agitated, it's because something in their environment has changed, and it has disrupted their sense of certainty. I have a short little example I want to share with you. I went to a facility that's got about 70 horses there. There's a lot of busyness going on. And one of the clients who has been there for 15 years, their daughter actually has grown up with horses at this facility. The daughter's now off to college. And for whatever reason, this horse owner, who doesn't spend a lot of time there, had decided that she no longer wanted her horse down in the lower part of the facility with this horse had been with for about 2 years. She wanted it up in the upper facility for, I don't know all the ins and outs of the story, but I know that that's what I was witnessing. When I pulled in, there's this horse next to my client's horse, and this poor horse is just running frantically up and down its paddock line, and sweating and whinnying and screaming. And my client's horse next to it was pretty, like, he was stoic. I mean, he was calm, but his ears were pinned back. He was in the middle of his paddock, as in every way he could be. He was in the middle, from the gate to the shelter, and from the fence line and the fence lines. And he had his butt to the one that was upset. This horse had been moved from where it had been for 2 years. It doesn't know why. Now all of a sudden, it doesn't have its pen buddy. It's in a new pen with a new horse and with a new surrounding. And even though it was on the same 40 acres, he was anxious and frustrated because his certainty had been disrupted. We don't think about that. Could you imagine if somebody came into your home and said, all right, gather up your things, we're out of here? Where am I going? Why? What am I doing? Your certainty has been threatened and disrupted, and it creates all these uncomfortable emotions within, which creates anxiety, and it creates physical sensations in our body. It does the same for the horses. So doing our best to help create or make sure that our horses are in an environment that is a positive environment that pretty much sticks to its routine. I mean, we don't want to bubble wrap our horses. We don't want to make it, oh God, we can't feed them 10 minutes late, or we can't, move them out to a grazing pen for an hour because they might not be able to handle it. Now that's going too far to the other extreme. But to try and give them that consistency and recognize that I have one horse, like I mentioned, who does not like to go on trail rides. So when she sees me coming and I got my eyes on her, she is certain that I am going to halter her up, put her in the trailer, and take her for a trail ride. And she does not like that disruption in her routine. I'm not going to stop taking her on trail rides. But what I'm going to do for her, and I promise her every time, 1, we are going together. 2, I've got your back. 3, we can do this together. And 4, we are coming home. So that's how you, like Laura was mentioning, keep that certainty going even when you're doing something different. We both need it. Horses and humans need to have that first basic need of certainty fulfilled. So establishing a foundation of certainty through these practices creates a trust-filled relationship where both women and horses can feel confident and at ease, which allows us to be the best that we can be. It allows us to feel comfortable enough to be a little bit vulnerable while we're asking ourselves and our horses to do new things. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This 6-part series, is going to be so much fun, and I hope it's really going to be thought-provoking for you. What does certainty mean in your life? And I would love to have you share in the comments some different ways that you recognize the need for certainty in your personal life. Thank you, Laura. In your personal life, your personal life. And then how does certainty, identify some ways certainty shows up in your horse's life, that that by providing this for them, it makes them feel safe, comfortable, secure, and able to explore their world. And then third, can you think of some ways that certainty in your relationship with your horse helps you guys to grow better? So over this week, I'd love to have you be thinking about those things and come back to this video and share in the comments your discoveries, because this is actually the 6 basic needs. It is a psychology topic. It's something that psychologists talk about a lot. It's something that we coaches talk about a lot when we're coaching our clients. It is a foundational 6 needs that need to be regularly fulfilled in both horses and humans' lives in order for us to thrive, to feel empowered and safe so that we can step out into the world and engage with others in a positive, productive, happy, peaceful way. So, what I have done is I have really started, I live with awareness on these 6 basic needs. And I also have started really paying attention to how do these 6 needs show up in my horses' lives, and how can I, by helping them to fulfill and get those needs met, help them to be all that they can be. Starts with us and then goes into them. So next week, the topic is going to be variety. So I'm excited to share that with you. Thank you all for tuning in. Please comment, share your thoughts, share your questions. Tell me what you learned today. And we will check back in next week, same time, same place. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Take care.